So we've got our next speaker, Mr. Raymond Allbright. So let me tell you a little bit about Raymond. He's been with Ford family since 1996 after serving 2 years in the Texas Army National Guard as a combat engineer and 9 years of active service in the Army as a forward observer to the field artillery. Shortly after joining Ford, he continued his military service as a military policeman in the Army Reserves. After 13 years of service, 3 deployments, and called to service while working at Ford, he elected to leave the military in pursuit of becoming a minister. He now serves as a licensed chaplain for the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association and an ordained minister and pastor of Hoover's Gap Church. And I'm proud to say he's a VetNG communications director and our consumer risk analysis. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee, and he was able to join us today and with his wife, Michelle, of 33 years, his 4 children, and 2 grandchildren, and his service dog. So Raymond, we're honored to have you join us today.
What an honor to stand with you here today. I was originally scheduled to come to Michigan simply because I was sponsored on a 2-day hunting trip as a disabled veteran through Michigan Operation Freedom Outdoors. But as is the case with any military organization, they seized an opportunity and asked me to speak today. I was going to wear my military uniform today, seeing how today is the perfect opportunity to showcase the Army colors. But as I donned my military jacket, I quickly realized that the lack of exercise combined with the demilitarizing cream of a Twinkie shrinks cotton. All I could do as I looked down at myself as I saw myself in the mirror, actually, and then I looked down as, quote, the famous man, Chris Farley, as I looked at myself and said, "Fat man in a little coat." As I placed my jacket back on the hanger, I thought, regardless of the shrinking cotton and my expanding waistline, there are 2 things that will forever fit in my uniform: pride and pain. The pride of knowing that I served my country with dignity, honor, and strength. Pride in the award or 2 that I received along the way back in the day, and the pride in the esprit de corps, the hoorah and the gung-ho that I showed my fellow soldier along the way. But as many persons have learned through the sting of battle, there are no atheists in a foxhole. They too, just as I, go through life with scarred mind or body, toppled, riddled, and filled with pain. Pain in moments unlike you may know, so let me just tell of one. Pain in times like when my then 14-year-old son said with his chest held high after reading the book Never Surrender by retired Lieutenant General William G. Boykin, he said, "Dad, you served in those conflicts, didn't you? Tell me about them." As my hands began to shake and my heart started beating faster, my eyes glazed over. He quickly, and thankfully I might add, repudiated himself and said, "Dad, it's okay. I understand." Pride and pain. So for the veterans before and the countless number that will come after, and for those that stand, sit, cry, laugh, stare, or swear among us today, far too many of whom remain nameless, I might add, for their service during peacetime or war, their time on land or at sea, their time in a seat in the sky, on a dusty street in a swamp or in a jungle with sweaty boots, just as I. For during their enjoyment in deployment, or their pain with the gain, or during their times of voices raised proclaiming, "Praise the Lord," and pass the ammo, or with hand raised and waving and saying to the Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, Coast Guard, or National Guard soldier standing in line, "Please step forward." Or even if they, like the acquaintance of mine, while he was stationed as a guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier, where he uttered ne'er a word, but he marched in the cold, in the wind, in the rain, and in the heat, enduring as each veteran in their own way has done shamelessly for their pride and in their pain. So for the veteran, if you are able, please stand. And if not, then simply raise a hand as a tribute, if it were, a prayer as it is, for an applaud it soon will be, to the men and women of this great land, as we thank each of you for bearing up and carrying on in honor and in recognition of your lifelong pride and enduring during your pain. Please stand and thank the veteran. God bless each one of you this day. Brenna, stand. Forward.
Thank you, Raymond. That was amazing. Thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for your service to the Veteran Network Group.